Peace. What's good, guys? How's it going? Hope you guys are doing well. Let's talk about and discuss NXT for January the 24th, 2023. So it's been a while since I've done a review of any sort. I was sick, and so I found out that I had a upper respiratory infection. I don't know how I got it, but thankfully everything is A-okay. I'm not quite back at 100%, but I'm getting there. And so I went to urgent care this past week, and they prescribed me a steroid, and I'm okay. Just taking, Tylenol, drinking a bunch of fluids, water, Gatorade, tea, all that jazz. But I'm doing better than I was the previous week. So glad to be back. Let's get into the review. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I did watch Raw 30. It was good. It was really decent. I love the fucking bloodline shit. So we kicked the show off with a video package involving Grayson Waller. So he filmed himself confronting Bron Breakker. And this happened at the Performance Center. This actually occurred on Monday. And basically, some shit went down. Grayson threw a water ball at Bron, and everybody in the Performance Center was losing their shit. They're trying to pull Bron and Grayson apart from each other. Really good shit. So then we start the show off with Indy Hartwell. She grabs the mic and says she's going to kick Tiffany Stratton's ass, which was kind of funny. So that leads us into our first match of the night. Tiffany Stratton versus Indy Hartwell. Tiffany Stratton wins via the moonsault. Such good shit. Really enjoy it. Tiffany Stratton, I feel 2023 is going to be her year. I don't know if they're going to give her the championship this year. If not this year, they'll give it to her next year. But I do think that she's in line for a massive push. The girl has all the tools. She just needs to work more on her character work. But she is great. Super good. Love her. So basically, it's time for Indy Hartwell to go now that she's lost to Tiffany Stratton. They need to put her on the main roster, Raw or SmackDown. I don't care which brand you put her on. Just put her on the show. Just do something with her. She's overstayed her welcome at NXT. Moving on. So Mackenzie Mitchell, she's backstage with JC Jane. So basically, Mackenzie's saying that Gigi is still JC Jane's partner. Jane's like, she dismisses this. She said that you might say they've had some miscommunication last week. To Jane, it was an awakening. She realized she's been carrying Gigi since day one, and now she's done. JC says she's the reason Toxic held the gold for all that time. She says that her and Dolan held down her for far too long, and she refused to let Dolan stop her from winning the NXT Women's title at Vengeance Day. And then Mackenzie says, what can we expect in tonight's summit? She said something we've never seen before. So she laughs and then she walks off. That's pretty cool. I like that. So Diamond Mine, they're training with Drew Gulak. And so Ivy now, she introduces Gulak, Hank Walker, a couple of their students. And so Brutus and Drew, they start to feel each other out. And basically, Brutus takes out Gulak, overpowers him and everything else, which was good. So basically, Gulak gets pissed that Brutus pins him down, shoves him, and actually no, he shoves Julius, and Julius is accusing him of a cheap shot. So Gulak walks away, and he says this isn't over by a long shot. So I like this. Moving on. Thea Hale's award ceremony. So Andre Chase, he says that we're here to recognize someone who's worked hard. He says that Thea has excelled in the classroom, but unfortunately, she hasn't did anything. She hasn't had the same success in the ring. But all that changed last week. So Andre Chase gets a little bit hyped. So they calm him down. He apologized. He actually says motherfucker, but he bleeped out. They calm him down. And then Andre Chase, he gives a certificate to Thea Hale for her first victory over Valentina Perez last week. Jenny McDonough, he comes out. He interrupts. And he says the standards are slipped in NXT. All of us for one win. We're doing participation awards in NXT. So JD basically makes fun of everybody. And says that they're all losers. Chase says he's not gonna let JD drag the good name of Chase through the mud. Chase means the road to Chase and everybody, including Thea Hale and what's his name? Duke Hudson, my bad. Duke Hudson. So Chase says, my bad. No, JD points out that he didn't mention Duke, that being Andre Chase. So JD tells Duke to control his dog. So JD continues to belittle Andre Chase and everybody else. He says that he's dressed for a fight. And he says that Chase dressed like a moron. Chase says one of his first things he teaches his students is to all be prepared. So he stays ready. So he doesn't have to get ready. He's going to give JD McDonough a Chase you ass whooping. Sounds ass whooping. So JD McDonough versus Andre Chase. McDonough wins via the devil inside. And I think that it's time to put JD McDonough on the main roster as well. He's been there long enough. He kind of really deserves better. I don't know, he's just going down the card more and more. But there's nothing left for him to do in NXT. It's time for him to kind of move on. I could see him doing well in the mid-card on SmackDown. So Kiana James, she's backstage with her assistant. So Briggs and Jensen and Fallon Henry, they're all there. So basically, Kiana sends her assistant away. So Kiana says to Henley and her crew that she's all theirs now, ready to go. So she suggested they start in their match. But she sees this may cause some tension. So she wants a second thought. And let's just go out there and see what happens. So Henley, she agrees. That sounds good. Let's go. So that leads us into our next match. Fallon Henley and Kiana James versus Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley. So Fallon Henley and Kiana James, they win. But Kiana James cheats to win. And for she wins via the Shining Wizard. So that's fine, I guess. Sucks that Ivy Nile continues to lose. I feel bad for Ivy Nile. It's bullshit what they're doing with my girl. I love me some Ivy Nile. So, New Day, they're out next. They're backstage with Edris Enofe and Malik Blade. So, Malik Blade and Enofe, they thank the New Day. They learned so much since they've been in NXT. And they just don't know how to dance. That's all they need. The skid's going to interrupt. So, they said that they want a title shot. Kofi says there's going to be a New Day tag team invitational next week. And the winners are going to join them, Pretty Deadly, and Gallus to make it a fatal 4-way. And I'm just like, what in the fuck is Shawn Michaels doing? We don't need a fatal 4-way tag team match. Seriously. This is stupid. Why can't it just be Gallus and the New Day? Why? And I love Pretty Deadly. And, not to mention before we move on, the New Day, I kid you not, were singing Randy Orton's theme song. And I'm just like, what in the actual fuck? Now I understand why Booker T despises the New Day. And this is one of the reasons why I can't stand them. They're too goofy. They're too ignorant. It's like they have no decorum, no self-control. It's just, they do dumb shit. And this is why I don't like the New Day. Like, why? Moving on. So, Apollo Crews, he's getting a haircut, which he really can't because he's bald. So, he's in the barbershop, probably about to get his beard trimmed up. So, Crews is sitting down talking to the barber. And then Carmelo Hayes dips in the scene. Carmelo's kind of pissed. They're not happy to see Crews. So Carmelo asked why Apollo's there, and then he's sitting in his chair. Everybody's thinking that a fight's gonna break out, but it doesn't. So Crews said he sees it. It's on Hayes' face that he's worried that he's not getting rid of Apollo, no matter what he does. So Crews says he's always going to be on his radar. Crews says he understands Apollo says he understands Carmelo's aspirations and passion and desire because he's the exact same. 2 men, 1 spot. So Carmelo says it might be tough for Apollo to look at him because he's younger, better, more athletic version of Apollo from 5 years ago, which I do kind of agree. And plus, he's like 10 years younger. So I think Apollo is like in his mid-30s. I think he's like maybe 36 to 38. And I know Carmelo is like late 20s, like 27, 28. But anyway, so Hayes says that Apollo got the call up early, which he did, and he's back. He was close to getting what he wants, but now the biggest and brightest is in Apollo's way. And Carmelo says it's him. Why does he always say that? I don't get that, man. So Hayes tells Crews to have one of those visions and tell him the NXT title doesn't look good around his waist. Apollo says, no, it looks, he's right, it does look good, but it looks better around his waist, that being Apollo. So the people begin to laugh. Trick doesn't like this. So they continue to talk back and forth a little bit. And Apollo opposes a 2 out of 3 falls match at Vengeance Day. And so Carmelo, he accepts, and he says that he's the present, but reminds Crews of his past. Crews says the funny thing about the past that it can always predict the future. I'm fine with this. This is great. They are 1-1. So this is a perfect way to settle their feud. Once Apollo loses at Vengeance Day, it's time for him to go back to the main roster. Nothing more, nothing less. He's been there long enough. He's been there, 6 months? Been there since, June of last year? Yeah, 6 months. 6.5 months. So, yeah, it's just about time for him to go back. Next, the Creed Brothers versus Hank Walker and Drew Gulak. So the Creed Brothers, they win. Post-match, so Charlie Dempsey, he's out there as well. So I think he distracted Drew Gulak. I'm still hoping that we see the turn where Dempsey and Gulak turn on Hank Walker. I do think that will happen. I do. That's some good water. So the Creeds, they get on the mic, and Julius says that he can't speak for his brother, but he sees the pain, saying that he can be a pain in the ass. He's stubborn, he's hard-headed, and wants to take everything personal, and will always have a chip on his shoulder. Julius says that that he and his family and friends know this is true, but I also know that he has that way to be the best version of himself. He says these have been the last tough few months, but Ivy rode it out with him and stayed by their sides. They both thank her. Brutus says Ivy could have walked away, especially when they were jerks, but she stuck with him. They thank her again. He said it actually inspired them to be the former Creed brothers, the old Creeds, the ones who won the NXT Tag Team Championships. So Jinder Mahal, he comes out along with Veer and Sangha. So Jinder, he congratulates the Creed. He congratulates the Creeds from once becoming the Creeds again. Jinder says his brothers are sick of earning respect, and now they're taking it. He says next week they're going to find out who the Creeds really are. He says his brothers are 100%. The Creeds are 100%. So next week, it'll be Indie Share versus the Creeds. Jinder tells them to accept the challenge. So Ivy, she looks at both Brutus and Judas. Jinder tells them to accept the challenge again. Ivy says he's on. So they continue to jog back and forth. I'm fine with this. We all know that it probably won't happen. I do think that we'll probably get this match at Vengeance Day. It makes the most sense because they're trying to stack that card up. And I do think that I would much rather see this match on Vengeance Day versus the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. You could put that on NXT television for all I care. That's just me. Now, I'm trying to think if Jinder's just going to be a manager or what. I don't know. Depends. Moving on. So, Makita Mitchell, she's backstage talking to Gigi. So, Gigi, she's a little bit surprised, but she's not shocked because she's always the first one to say something. So, she says that Jane's a bad person, plain and simple. She says she's nothing like Jane, despite being a little dark. So, she has her rose with her, and it's thorns. And she says that the thorns can be very dangerous if you're distracted by the petals, but they're not hiding. Dolan says her tag partner can say what she wants about her, but she has nothing to hide. So Dolan can't wait to look Dolan can't wait to look JC in her eyes tonight and give her a piece of her mind. So I do like that. That's pretty cool. This was very good promo work here. I love it. Really solid promo work here. Really good shit. Tony D'Angelo and Stax. So, they're walking in a nice restaurant. So, Stax is the new underboss. Tony says that he's impressed. He says that the family couldn't be more happier about the new news of Stax's promotion. Says sending macaroons and canolas was a nice touch. Tony says the streets are talking about the new underboss, and they know the first step is the most important. So Stacks wants to make a big impact, and he wants to take on the biggest guy he can find. Tony says if he's sure, Stacks knows that he can do it. So they take care of the tab because Stacks took the restaurant owner at the racetrack. So Tony and Stacks, they salute each other with a toast. I got a feeling that Von Wagner might be that guy that he's talking about, and I hope not, because if it's Von Wagner, I'm gonna slit my fucking wrist. I cannot stand him. I cannot fucking stand him. He is so garbage. But I'm liking the Stacks and Tony D stuff. Digging that. Wendy Q versus Elektra Lopez. Elektra Lopez wins via brass knucks. And Fallon, not Fallon Henley, but Valentina Perez. She is out there by ringside. So, there's that. So, speaking of Fallon Henley, she's backstage with Grayson Jensen. They congratulate her. So Jensen reveals that how he went to officials and got Kiana James and Fallon Henley a title shot against Casey Squared at Vengeance Day. So Fallon Henley, she's pissed off. She's very unhappy. She says this was supposed to be a one-time thing, and that Jensen didn't even ask her. She's feeling blindsided, and she's got to think about it. I'm like, why are you thinking about getting a title shot? This don't make no damn sense. So Elektra Lopez, she's backstage with Valentina Perez. So Elektra says it doesn't matter how you win as long as you win, which I agree, especially if you're a good heel. Perez says she doesn't know how to do this, and Wendy too, because they're friends. So Elektra cuts off Perez and says, Dirty gets the job done. No one's going to do it for you. And then Lopez says that Perez can keep her friends, and she's going to keep winning. And she walks off, and then Perez is a little bit frustrated. So I'm guessing they're going to do a slow heel turn where she's going to come around to her senses and realize she has to turn heel, which actually does make the most sense. Mackenzie Mitchell, she's backstage, supposedly, and she's dealing with Stevie Turner. So Stevie Turner, she appears on screen. She's doing a live stream. So she makes fun of Mackenzie Mitchell a little bit, and then she says she's doing her stream via Super Chats. So she's going to be making her NXT debut next week. And she also mentioned she wants to face Roxanne Perez, but she doesn't think she's going to have the title at the Vengeance Day. And says that this is going to be a much better way of doing things, and that next week's NXT is going to get brought into the future by her. So, fine with that. All right, Bron Breakker, Grayson Waller. So, Waller, he's coming out. He asked for the music to be cut. Makes fun of the crowd. He continues to taunt Bron Breakker. Waller says that he's got no steel plate under his jacket tonight. So Bron, he's out next. He's walking backstage. So everybody's coming out to separate him. And he's pushing back guys, the crew back there. And the entire men's locker room, they dip out. And so they're there to hold him back. So Bron and Grayson, they brawl. And then he attempts to hit a spear, but he misses, and he hits the barrier. Fans can't holy shit. And then, there's that. Grayson says that he's gone viral and that Bron is his bitch. Now, this was a crazy segment, which I didn't even understand, and I had to watch it again. But Gallus, they need some fucking subtitles, like ASAP. Like, Gallus, they gotta have subtitles. Like, I couldn't understand what they were saying. And I'm like, I get that this is American television, but their accents are so fucking thick. Like, I can easily understand what Becky's saying, Sheamus, Drew, those guys and girls, but damn, these guys hit another fucking low. It's like, I have to have subtitles. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But, so they're playing pool and they're having drinks. So they said that, they're keeping their eyes on the prize, and that everyone knows that Gallus boys are on top when they're going to win the tag titles at Vengeance Day, which I hope they do. Then that leads us into the main event, match-wise of the show. KC Squared, Katana Chance, and Kaden Carter taking on Alba Fire. That's a handicap for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. So, then, when Alba makes her entrance, sending KC Squared to make theirs, 2 seconds later, Saruka comes out. So, Saruka, it's now, even. So, KC Squared, they win via the neck breaker into the 450, which I loved. Good shit. Saruka eats the pin, so Saruka gets no push, but it is what it is. She's just starting out, which I'm fine with. But Isla Dawn, she appears, and she looks at Alba Fire. And so it seems like they're probably going to end up aligning those two before Alba goes to the main roster. I actually think that would make sense. But, Katana Chant, KC Squared, they're celebrating. And we see from the little Raptors that Fallon Henley and Katana James, they're on the platform above the crowd. So Fallon says she thought about it and that they're going to see the champs at Vengeance Day. Okay. Boring old, get the fuck off my television, Dijak. So, Dijak, he's hanging out with Wes Lee, sitting back in the dark somewhere. Dijak says that he's surprised to see Lee, and that he had the balls show up. Lee said he heard that a lot, but he knows he needs to have balls to carry this title. Dijak says, don't get cute, because this isn't your last chance to hand me the title. Wesley says he's holding on to the title. While it may be a stupid decision, he's been making stupid decisions his whole life. And that's what made him the man of the day. Lee says Dijak didn't have to come back to NXT to talk. The plans to flip the law play at Vengeance Day. Wesley says when fans chant his name, he feels like he can overcome anyone and anything. Wesley says he's keeping the title, and Dijak doesn't have to like it, but he will damn sure respect it. Lee tells Dijak to protect his neck, and he'll see him at Vengeance Day. And then he dips out, and then Dijak says, unfortunately for Mr. Lee, he doesn't deal in sob stories, he deals in justice. And I'm like, Dijak, go fuck off. I can't stand that boring piece of shit. And no, I don't care that he can do kicks and flips. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? So Mackenzie Mitchell talking to Cora Jade. So she went to go find Cora Jade. Jade says she's a superstar, not Mackenzie. Then Mackenzie mentions her issues with Valkyria. And Jade says Lyra is going to be a very integral part of the NXT Women's Division, but she needs to learn her place. Jade said she'll happily teach Valkyria this valuable lesson. No matter how great the bird brain is, she will not be better than Jade. So Jade opens up her locker, finds it's a black feather. So we know she's gonna be facing her next week. Jade, she is reigning, but she's cut off by Vic, telling Mackenzie that they have something that went down in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh shit, it's the parking lot. So, various people are around, and then Indy Hartwell, she's trying to help out Nikita Lyons, who got hit in the shin. So, just when we thought the parking lot was safe, we were wrong. We were wrong, damn it. We all know that Zoe Stark attacked her. That's common sense. So, more Chase U stuff. So, Andre says he's upset. He wanted to know where Duke went. He walked out. Chase said he went to find Shawn Michaels to get him a spot in the New Day Tag Team Invitational. So, Andre Chase asked, what did Shawn say? Shawn told Duke to talk to New Day. New Day went to... Duke went to New Day, and he then mentions that they are going to be facing, they're going to be added to that triple threat, to the match next week. Make it a triple threat match. And it's like, not good. Then, the closing segment of the show. Roxanne Perez, Gigi Dolan, and Jacy Jayne. The NXT Women's Title Vengeance Day Summit. So basically, Jacy Jayne and Gigi, they're on the mic just talking shit back and forth. Jayne basically says that the kick was an accident, but she wishes it wasn't. Jayne also admits that Dolan is good, but she carried her the whole time. JC says Dolan would be a one-hit wonder living on the indies. It wasn't for her. Dolan says Jayne is the most insecure person she ever met. Dolan says we're shooting from the hip here. She says she's going to bring up something she didn't plan to, that JC pukes in the bucket before each match because she gets so nervous. Jayne also calls Dolan a pathological liar. They continue to argue back and forth. And then Perez, she gets on the mic saying that she knows that they've insulted every woman in the back and they made life a living hell for the past few months. So she's glad that they are feeling the way that they made every person feel. Perez saw Karma as a toxic bitch. And then Roxanne thought it would be a handicap match at Vengeance Day. But it looks like it's going to be a real triple threat after all. Perez says the odds are against her. And she knows she'll walk away with the title and walk out with it. So Dolan says Perez is wrong. She says that Perez will make history as she becomes the shortest reigning champion of all time. And then JC and Gigi, they continue to jolly back and forth. Gigi says that Jacy Jayne is a third wheel in Toxic Attraction, and will be the third wheel in this match. They continue to argue some more, because he's like, wait, hold on a minute, I got a few more questions, and then they beat down Roxanne Perez, and they put her through a table, and they hold the title together, and that's how we go off the air. I'm fine with it. We all knew that this was coming anyway. Makes the most sense. We all know that Roxanne Perez is going to retain anyway at Vengeance Day. Like, anybody can figure that out. Like, it's common sense. All in all, I did like the show. It was fun. It was decent. So, thank you guys for watching. Please hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to my videos. Catch you guys later. Peace. Pretty decent show.
To the